General Hospital spoilers teases that Mac's return may blow open a secret so dangerous that Anna's entire disappearance could suddenly look like one massive cover-up. And I have to say it right away. If Mac walks back into General Hospital with Joe and Anna, then Port Charles may be standing on the edge of a shocking betrayal that no one saw coming. I've been watching this situation closely, and I don't think Mac's comeback is just another familiar face returning for a few scenes. I think this could be the beginning of something much bigger. The latest whispers suggest Mac may return near the end of May, and while there still isn't a confirmed exact date, the actor behind Mac has reportedly been spotted around the General Hospital set. That alone already feels like a huge clue. But what really grabs me is the possibility that Mac may not come back alone. Because if Mac returns with Joe and Anna, then I think the show is setting up a secret rescue, a hidden investigation, and maybe even a plan that has been moving quietly behind the scenes this entire time. Right now, Anna's situation feels strange. Too strange. I don't fully buy the idea that Anna simply disappeared and came back mentally unstable, confused, or broken. I think there is more going on. I think Mac may not believe that story either. And if Mac doesn't believe it, then that changes everything. Mac knows Anna. He knows how strong she is. He knows how careful she can be. So if someone is trying to make Anna look unstable, dangerous, or unreliable, I believe Mac would be one of the first people to smell something wrong. And that may be why he returns. Not for a casual reunion. Not for a quiet visit. I think he returns because he suspects Anna has been framed, manipulated, or used as part of a bigger scheme. But the story didn't end there. The biggest mystery for me is Joe. Who is Joe really? I'm hearing the possibility that Joe could be a rookie cop, someone Mac brings along or mentors during this mission. And I actually like that theory because Port Charles desperately needs more people on the side of justice right now. The villains are multiplying. Cullum, Cassius, Sidwell, Pascal. These names are stacking up like a criminal army forming in the shadows. It feels like every time one threat is exposed, two more appear behind it. So if Joe is a real cop, then I think his arrival could signal a serious shift. Maybe he is young. Maybe he is inexperienced. Maybe he still believes the system can work. And maybe Mac sees something in him. I can imagine Mac taking Joe under his wing, guiding him through his first major mission, and quietly showing him that Port Charles justice is never clean, never simple, and never safe. But I can't ignore another possibility. What if Joe is not just a random rookie? What if Joe is connected to one of the major families in Port Charles? I keep asking myself that because soaps rarely introduce someone new without a hidden tie. Maybe Joe has a family connection that hasn't been revealed yet. Maybe he is tied to someone powerful. Maybe he has a secret name, a buried past, or a motive that even Mac doesn't fully understand. And that is where things get dangerous. Because if Mac brings Joe into the Anna investigation and Joe has his own secret agenda, then Mac may be walking straight into a trap. Or maybe Mac already knows. Maybe Mac is testing Joe. Maybe this whole mission is not just about saving Anna. Maybe it is about finding out who Joe really is. I think Anna's disappearance may be the key to everything. Someone may want people to believe Anna lost control. Someone may want her reputation destroyed. Why? Because Anna knows too much. Anna has always been the kind of woman who can connect dots other people miss. She has enemies everywhere, and if one of those enemies realized Anna was getting too close, the perfect move would be to remove her, isolate her, and then make everyone question her mind. That would be a cruel plan. That would be a secret betrayal. And if that plan gets exposed, it could tear through Port Charles like fire. I can picture Mac finding evidence that Anna was never mentally ill in the way people were led to believe. Maybe there are missing records. Maybe there is security footage that vanished. Maybe a doctor, a guard, or a mysterious informant suddenly remembers something they were paid to forget. I can see Mac quietly putting the pieces together while pretending he is just coming back to check in. But Mac is not the kind of man who comes back without purpose. I think he returns with questions. I think he returns with suspicion, and I think he returns ready to act. Then there is the law and order problem in Port Charles. I have to say it. The town feels overrun. The bad guys are everywhere, and the people who should be protecting the city are stretched thin. With Mac and Anna possibly stepping back into the action, the balance may finally start to shift. But I don't think the villains are going to sit back and let that happen. If Cullum, Cassius, Sidwell, or Pascal are connected to Anna's disappearance, then Mac's return becomes a threat. And if Joe is helping Mac, then Joe may become a target before he even knows what he has stepped into. That could be his first real test. Does Joe panic? Does Joe follow Mac's lead? Or does Joe reveal that he has been hiding something all along? I keep coming back to one question. Is Joe being introduced as the future of law enforcement in Port Charles, or is he being introduced as the twist? Because I can see it going either way. Joe could be the fresh face the police department needs, someone who helps clean up the town after a major criminal takedown. But Joe could also be someone planted inside the investigation. Maybe the enemy knows Mac is coming. Maybe they know Mac will never abandon Anna. Maybe Joe is placed close to him so the villains can stay one step ahead. That would be a shocking twist. And honestly, I would not be surprised if General Hospital goes there. Now, let me talk about Anna, because if she returns with Mac, I don't think she comes back weak. I think she comes back changed. Maybe shaken, yes. Maybe furious, definitely. But not defeated. I think Anna may know pieces of the truth, but not the full picture. Maybe she remembers flashes. Maybe she knows a face, a location, or a voice. Maybe she has been pretending to be more confused than she really is because she knows someone is watching her. And if Anna has been playing along this whole time, then that would be the real bombshell. Imagine Mac believes he is rescuing Anna, but Anna has actually been gathering evidence from the inside. Imagine she allowed her enemies to think they broke her while she was quietly learning their structure, their names, and their weakness. That would make her return with Mac and Joe even more explosive. But every plan has a weak point. And I think Joe may be that weak point. Maybe Joe's first mission is to help Mac secretly investigate Anna's case. Maybe Mac sends him to follow a lead, question someone, or recover evidence. But what if Joe finds something he was never supposed to find? What if Joe discovers that someone inside the police department, the hospital, or even one of the major families helped cover up what happened to Anna? That could change the entire story. Because then this is no longer just about Anna being missing. It becomes about corruption. It becomes about betrayal. It becomes about a hidden network inside Port Charles that has been protecting the villains while pretending to chase them. And I have to ask, who benefits if Anna is discredited? Who benefits if Max stays away? Who benefits if a young rookie like Joe walks into danger before he understands the rules of the game? I think the answer may be someone close. Someone trusted, someone no one expects. That is why I believe Mac's return could be more than a comeback. It could be the first move in a larger takedown. Mac may be returning to restore order, but he may also be stepping into the middle of a war. And if Anna is with him, then the enemy may realize their biggest mistake was leaving her alive, aware, and angry. The climax I'm watching for is the moment Mac realizes the truth was hidden in plain sight. Maybe Anna's so-called mental collapse was staged. Maybe Joe's connection to Port Charles is not innocent. Maybe one of the current villains has been using multiple identities, multiple allies, or multiple fake stories to control the board. And when that secret is finally exposed, I think everything could fall apart fast. But here is where I leave it open. Will Mac expose the plot before the enemy strikes again? Will Joe prove himself as a real cop, or will he be exposed as part of the plan? And when Anna finally steps back into the light, will she come back as the victim everyone expects, or as the one person who has been setting the trap all along? Because if Mac Joe and Anna return together, I don't think Port Charles is getting peace. I think Port Charles is getting the beginning of a shocking war.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.